You will become an explorer into the mysteries of life. Why are we attracted to one person and not another? What happens when we confront our darkest fears? Can we ever become young again? What are the limits of human endurance? Celebrate the power of the human spirit in its relentless pursuit of knowledge. The more we know, the more powerful we become. Explorations.
On Exploration, we find out how waking up with a cold not only ruined this man's day, but nearly ruined his life. How the scent of these 6 women can lead this man to his ideal mate. And why this professional tea taster is wrong to think his tongue matters more than his nose.
Coffee. Definitely coffee.
On an ordinary London day in the year 2000, one man had been driven to the edge. A dark cloud of depression had been hovering over him for months. Its cause? To some, it didn't seem like much of a problem at all.
Until you actually experience it, you don't realize how devastating it is. It sounds trivial, it sounds amusing. Somebody once said to me, it's the one disability you'll tell people and they'll laugh at you.
But this disability is no laughing matter. It drove Mick O'Hare to consider suicide. "18 months earlier, Mick woke up with a bad head cold. As he got out of bed, the smell of breakfast wafted from the kitchen. But Mick was oblivious to the welcoming aromas. As he sat down to eat, he began to realize that something was seriously wrong.
And I said to my wife, something's happened, I can't smell anything. It felt like complete absence. Because usually when you've got a cold, you sniff about a bit and you can taste something. Well, I just couldn't taste anything. And I kind of realized immediately that something had happened.
A specialist diagnosed Mick with viral anosmia. An infection had destroyed the olfactory cells in his nose, and he couldn't smell a thing. But the burning question for Mick was, how long would his illness last?
He said, you're just going to have to live with this. You're going to have to learn to live with this. He said, you know, it might come back, but it's most likely not going to come back, especially if it hasn't come back within a couple of weeks. And that's when I realized there doesn't seem to be any solution whatsoever. It was all so sudden and so rapid. It was just dreadful. The whole thought of it was dreadful.
Mick's doctors offered little hope, and Mick himself realized quickly that without smell, life would never be the same again. In the 21st century, sight and hearing have become our dominant senses, leaving smell increasingly ignored, unnoticed and undervalued. But we're now just beginning to understand how critically the secret world of smell influences our emotions and actions. When people meet, they think their first impressions are based on physical looks. In fact, when we get up close, it's smell that makes all the difference.